Good afternoon. It is 3 o'clock on Wednesday, the 9th. I had to check on my calendar. Tom's back. Headphones a little different. Old headphones are in the trash with the coffee. They broke. Let me get the broken headphones out from you, my friends. I love Logitech, but their cheap headphones have a critical weakness, which is the twisty foldy corner thing. This is garbage, and I knew this is the weak point, and this is where they always freaking break. So this was my old work headphones, and they were okay. The microphone stunk. I'm in the process of researching a new headphone setup. This is for my other computer, and what I like about these is that this does not have any kind of weak point on the joint holding the phone. So I can abuse this set a little bit more because this is all metal. Problem is the microphone is garbage as far as I can tell. I need to, if you know about headphone mics, please holler. Let me know what's up. If any of my friends out there, I need to be educated in this kind of stuff. What are we doing today? We have drawings that are Russians. This is for a commission, and I'm excited about this. I got some reference. I have some Ukrainian. I don't know if these are Russian backed guys who pro Ukrainian. What I'm gonna guess because of the armor and because of their attitude, they are some spicy boys who just look at this guy in the background just cruising through this staging area for some kind of militant group. He's like, what is going on over here? And I just love the way these nonchalant Kellers just pose in this photo. So I wanted to do a drawing in honor of this gangster attitude. I'm sure all these they're just some fun-loving boys who like shooting people. You know, they don't mean ill in a personal level. They're just they're just doing their thing. I'm being slightly silly because I know this is a war. War is terrible and awful and complicated and a lot of gray area kind of stuff. But the book that I'm drawing for is going to have a bunch of these little vignettes from war. And I wanted to do an illustration. Set in the future, maybe 20, 30 years out. Dudes have power armor. Dudes have advanced weaponry, advanced optics. The cover illustration looks something like this. This is going to be the American side. So we're leaning on the tropes of the past, the old East versus West, Cold War 3.0, whatever you want to call it, is what we're going with. Is what we're going with here. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining us today. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for clicking on the video. We're just going to be drawing and be sharing some stories, sharing some methods, and hopefully inspiring you to pick up a pen, paper, sketchbook, whatever, and jot some stuff down. I tend to lean heavily on militaria type stuff. Again, my name is Tom Symonds, and this is the Turbo Symonds Drawing Hour, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. So set up contextually this series of drawings. I've got a bunch of different sketches all going in the same file as I'm brainstorming and thinking about what am I doing. It's good to have different options for stuff. This was a drawing I started a little bit earlier. Found that I wanted to add a third character here, added a lady in, so we just had another layer. And I could add another layer, draw a bit more details in, and I could turn that layer off and see whether I still like it or not. So we'll leave that in there. This lady has shed their power armor, so it's sitting behind them and they're cooling off, having a little coffee smoke break, chill. I wanted to show a scene of like casual attitude from war. So not all combat, but just a whole day in the life of people in conflict. And something about the way you guys pose is just funny to me. It's casual but also lethal. Kind of looks like gang members posing. Like, your Bloods and your Crips, and they're showing off their guns. Everyone does this. Every faction in the world does their unit pose. The Americans got it. They usually make it a little bit more official, and I love our eastern cousins standing on a tank. It's just kind of funny. It's just funny to me. It's funny to me. That movie, a TV show on HBO, what was it called? Chernobyl, kind of showing the humanity of the Russian people. I thought was interesting, and Ukrainian people. Got to humanize stuff. I think Ken Burns does a really good job of that with his documentaries, talking about humanizing people. I have some sketches from a long time ago that are defining what the armor is actually doing. This is a pretty crude but loose sketch of the differences between, in this fantasy future battlefield, what the Russian units look like versus what the American units look like. I did this drawing a while ago. It's not really refined. I did it pretty quickly. And I wish I refined it a little bit more. I wish I made more decisions. But generally, I've outlined what is the specific differences between the different kit. And I don't know, I'm just kind of making up shapes here with a little bit of an understanding of how exoskeleton systems work, that they're these frames that are electrically powered or pneumatically powered that give the wearer the ability to carry more gear. So we got a lot going on here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're coming into the stream, please say hi. Let me know you're here, and I'll ask questions. I'll try to narrate as we go with this drawing. So I've already made a few decisions on the composition, so we're going to continue to make the broadest decisions possible. Looking at the sketch, where are the least decisions made? Where do I need to make some decisions right now? We know that there's going to be tracks and a wheel system behind this, some kind of mini tank APC thing. It doesn't matter that it's not in any kind of scale. I'm just inventing it. It's got some kind of anti-aircraft weaponry in the front. There's going to be a big power armor guy. There's like this sniper looking dude who's kind of chilling. There's the guy doing the classic Caucasian squat, and a dude sitting resting here. Let's flip it and see if it's balanced. Image rotation, flip horizontal. So it looks like my man here is kind of leaning to the right a little bit. It's interesting how the lean is a little bit more obvious. So let's do a little contrapposta here. Let's just lean into the contrapposta. So he's leaning to the right, so we're just going to kind of go with it, and that means that the shoulders have to change a little bit. So if this pelvis is going that way, the shoulder's going that way, which makes sense. So he's holding this big machine gun thing up. Maybe I'll bring it down just a bit. Maybe down and out just a little bit. Let's take this thing, let's select the whole business, let's rotate it and bring it down to here. Make a decision on this arm. So here's the head in some kind of big helmet type thing. Maybe I can erase the background just a little bit. Would that help clarify it? Let's go 30%. And let's erase just the background just so we can focus on the primary guys. Draw 0, 100%. Let me know what you're listening to today. What are the good jams on the tunes? I'm listening to this dude on Facebook called Merzerg. Some theremin playing keyboardist dude. So the big guy's gonna have a backpack. He's got plate armor. What's his arm doing? Is it just by his side like this? Maybe it's resting. So I'm imagining the heavy is going to have the strongest power armor and the most plate on him. So on his thighs, he's going to be carrying 200 round belts of ammo. So this big gun he's carrying is some Dishka-like thing or some kind of PKM, big heavy machine gun. So he's the heavy. You might maybe if you've played a Call of Duty game, you recognize the heavy as like the up armored guy, the big scary mini boss type dude. Got some people who like the video. Thanks, Ryan, and others who have already hit the like button. Pretty dope of you. So here's the sketch of the heavy here too, the Russian heavy. He's got a lot of armor on him. He's got a pretty bulky looking. He's got these extra ammo cans, and he's got some kind of PK machine gun of some kind. Belt fed. Live on a Wednesday. Get so quiet. It's so quiet with headphones on. What are you doing? So I kind of like this arm having a little bend to it. Let's define the hand on this ammo box. It's got some kind of ammo can. Would it be better with the belt hanging to the outside or on the inside of the leg? I've never run a machine gun, so I don't know how I'd want to mount it or get rid of it. But I would think that you wouldn't want just the little dangly bits of bullets kind of off on the outside. So we'll have the bullets coming out in here. There's probably some kind of cover. Brainstorming process. It would probably be better to draw all this at like 50%. When I'm still brainstorming it. Let's go to 45. So hands there, forearms here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. Just give it a little bit of life to that finger by making it come up and out and then in. That's cool. All right, fingers give a little bit of life to the dude. That's fun. So the power armor would have to interact with the weapon somehow to take some of the weight off. So I'm imagining that the control arm is coming up parallel with the ulna and then has a hook or claw device that can grab onto some kind of mounting point that would be at the bottom of the hand grip. So wherever the hand goes, the power armor knows how to grab onto like a ball joint or some kind of socket thing. All kinds of armor. He's got some kind of face, like painted face mask. I think that'd be fun. Like some shark teeth. Let's erase at 50%. This guy, just so I can draw over him a little bit clearer. Let's get some. I really need some jams. Find some music real quick. Listen to some Gorillas. Gorillas would be good. Kids with Guns is always a good one. To rearrange some things. So my method is a lot of erasing and redrawing. My buddy L likes to work with a blue pen and mark over and over and over again at like 30 or 40%. I work really messy. Maybe some way to clamp this ammo can into a bracket so it's easy to load up and easy to unload. possible that the heavy would have like completely like robotic external fingers. So you have like an inner glove and then like an outer glove on top of it. Might be interesting to do. This guy's got a rifle slung. Let's make some decisions. Make some decisions. What's weird about Photoshop New is that you can't switch the brush of your other tools. I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet. So I have to use the bracket tool. It's my reference. This guy. Lots of grenades around the belly section. Joe says, I like the big, chunky Russian assault guy. Thanks, Jojo. Big boy. He's got a Domokin kind of face to him. I'm thinking quad or panographic, panovision, night vision, thermal vision type units. By 2040, certainly the Russians would have that technology too. They probably already have it. Kind of armored face thing. Maybe. I don't really know. I had a whole coffee, but I'm not feeling too talkative today. So, got to get some questions. Drew's here. What's up, Drew? Hi, dude. Sean says, hi. Hi, Sean. Doing this drawing for you, sir. Thanks for tuning in and checking it out. Get to see the process, get to work through it. Also, this is helpful because you give me some feedback based on what you're seeing here. So doing a group shot of the Russians chilling. Okay, what's the next thing we have to decide? So we're making decisions about what the future rendering is going to be. That's the most important part of the brainstorming. So I want this one hand over the other. So I visualize it in my head. Maybe we have a hand inside of the other hand. He's holding onto his thumb. That'd be interesting. Kind of a cautious, like safe, little maybe nervous action. This guy's maybe the most hardened veteran of the group who's posing but wants to keep his identity secret. He's trying to stay emotionally distant from his comrades because he knows that he'll lose one of them in the next week in the offensive to come. and he would certainly carry lots of grenades, you know. I wonder if that's like a veteran thing. Like the more combat you see, the more you get into explosives. So you realize that like explosives are way more effective than just a gun by itself. So you, if you actually been through it, you recognize that you know, as guns look gangster, but explosives really are what get the job done. Plus, you can't get like hand grenades as a regular American just chilling out in Pennsylvania. You can't go buy explosives. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Also, I'm not interested. It's too dangerous. Maybe going for a more graphic novel style with these guys. So these guys have power armor on, so they can carry a lot of gear. A lot, level 4 plate armor in the torso and a big freaking plate at that. Looks like Brandon might have tuned in. What's up, baby? How you doing, Breadman? Welcome, welcome. Trickle in. Hang out. So this would be the thigh panel up here. And then some kind of utility. And some knee guards. And let's get the foot. I'm looking at my left reference here. This guy. We have the exoskeleton. It's like an extra fibula on the outside of your leg. And then it does a lot of weight bearing. Visualizing cylinders. Looks like we got some pneumatics. I don't really know how this works, but we'll figure it out. Let's zoom out, make sure that works. Looks a little stubby, like you might be a little too thick up top. So let's copy this and select and shrink the upper body just a little bit and see if that changes how it feels. The hands look like they're holding something. It looks like he's holding his junk. So I might have to change that up just a little bit because I'm not really excited about it for the minute. I'm moving a cushion on my seat. Sean says network is up and down here, so audio and video are choppy. Sorry. I'm sorry too. Well, hopefully this video will be up on YouTube later and you can watch it again. Drew says got a mute for a meeting, but I'm still watching. Thanks, Drew. Thanks for hanging out, man. So the hands over the crotch feel a little weird to me, so I'm gonna shift that up a little bit. Maybe just do like a gunslinger, kind of like a, yeah. Let's do gunslinger. Gunslinger will be a little better. So that means arm goes. Yeah, this is going to be a lot better. I'll just have this on a pouch. Great thing about Photoshop is you can just grab joints and like paper cutout. It was too far out, I think. A little chaotic energy just to get the thing worked out. This leg feels a little short to me. So let's just stretch it out just a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. Moved around. I don't know. I like the sketch of it a lot better than as it's being refined. So we're just going to experiment with some stuff. Alright, so we have contrapposto next going up. This is going down. Let's select the whole leg. And let's move it around just a little bit. Let's see if it looks better, straighter. So he's up there. We have to break this guy up a little bit closer. So he's a little bit lower. That's cool. Might be good enough. I think part of the problem is that torso looks like it's leaning forward. And really, I wanted it to be leaning back. So let me just kind of readjust a couple things up here. Let's put all this stuff up higher, and all the pouches are going to be up high on this set, and then maybe it's more straight on. Russians love big pouches, man. They carry a ton of gear. What I've seen, a lot of heavy freaking equipment. And there's Russians that got the tracksuits and go super light. So I guess it goes both ways. I shouldn't fidget it to one thing. Let's give a silencer to this guy. Let's get some big Russian can on the end of it. Dope. So what's this hand on? I think there's a thumb here, and that's going to be on some kind of service weapon. And some mag pouches. This guy's unrefined. So sitting dude, let's get him a little bit of work. So sitting dude is relaxing. He's got his AK just over his lap, and he's resting his hand on top of it. Let's just rough in a hand real quick to see if it feels correct at all. It's like when digital, you're always prototyping. And then once you have a prototype you like, you can just copy it and finish it to something. Joe says, I like your style, Drew. All right, what's my man here doing? He's just some goofy guy. This guy's gonna have a bit of a Cossack kind of vibe to him. Let's give him a Cossack hat. Why not? He's being silly. Let's give him a big crazy hat. Maybe like Khabib. Doesn't Khabib have some crazy hat? It'd be fun. What am I thinking about with this guy? He's a little flat looking, but might be okay. Stock's over here somewhere. This is the grip, trigger guard, mag release. They're probably using some kind of AK pattern still in the future. AK 300 series, something. So it feels like the arm's reaching a little too much. Maybe like the hand comes back a bit. Yeah, that feels better. Give a little bit more room. Bring the elbow out. Maybe his hands coming up here. What happens if it would just draw a couple fingers up on this, on the knee? Is that cool? Some thumb right there. Yeah, that feels good. That's, how do we make that arm make sense? You can get so much life in the hands. Just make them a little chaotic, a little irregular, like you're doing something interesting. You can express a lot of internal struggle of your character just by manipulating their fingers. Let's tilt this guy back just a little bit. So one thing I might need to do is shrink the head a little bit. Yep, this guy's head might be a little big for his body. Plus we make him look more heroic by shrinking it down just a bit. There we go. Just a little bit smaller. Something like that. Let's clean it up. His legs working again, so we get a big knee pad. And we got some sections And there's some kind of high ankle section. Then has the pneumatic pushers. A lot of brain power here, ladies and gentlemen, trying to figure out how this guy works. We're using these straps to define the curvature of the surfaces. Give a little bit more shoulder. This helmet's going to be over here somewhere. Alright, so he's pretty well figured out. Is this guy figured out? He's pretty well figured out. I'm not going to give this guy top armor. He's just going to have his like vest. It's going to be pretty lightweight. So this guy, they took off his upper power armor. He's just going with like the legs, maybe for speed. Maybe the power armor works, like depending on how much you're carrying, is how fast it can operate or something. And this guy just has jump capability. Magazine of the gun, mag release. Let's see this hand. Let's refine the hand a little bit. So he's got his index finger off the trigger, but on the safety selector on an AK. Yeah. Got the track by Gorillas All Alone. It's a good track. Just the leg. Got some stripes. The trick is you got to visualize what you want and then be able to recognize that when you draw it, it doesn't look like what you want, that you can quickly reset and say, like, you got to be able to make a mark and then judge that mark and say, is that mark good or is it wrong? So it's drawing. My method is drawing by brute force, trial and error. I have a little bit of an idea. I have like maybe a 30% hazy image in my mind of what I want. And then I'm trying to construct the pose based on what I've read, what I've drawn in the past, what I've seen in the past, but also what I want the thing to feel like, to emote. Some kind of optic, scope kind of system. Now let's flip it back. Flip horizontal. Okay, how are we feeling about this? It's a little constrained. Maybe I should kind of rearrange this a little bit. Let's just shimmy it over, just so it's kind of in the middle. This is fun though. I'm liking this composition of dudes. I feel like the most refined Black Ops looking dude, his legs could be a lot longer. So let's select the top part here and just stretch it up. Let's just gonna select this area and just move it up just a bit, maybe closer to big guy. Yeah, that's what's up. That feels pretty good. This is some kind of kit hanging there, and then that's the leg control. Yeah, that feels better. It feels better making it taller. What about putting the foot on this side instead of the other side? Does that feel good? Now he looks like he's really leaning into big dude. So I think, what if the back foot is planted and the front foot is up? Does this feel better if it's like up a little bit? Using the lasso tool just to kind of move it out just a bit. Let's see. Does that feel good? Yeah, it feels a little better. Still not perfect, but better. Let's really get that thumb. Let me go for gunslinger, pistol belt. So proportions. Is the line work okay? It's messy. Our proportions, we're getting better. We're getting better with the proportions and the scale of stuff. I want this hulking guy to feel really hulky and big, so I don't want to make the other guys too big to distract from big machine gun dude. Let's work on him. Let's give him a little bit of love. So he's gonna be a big guy. Elbow. Let me think. Usually, when a guy has the gun out to the side, it usually has the stock dug into his rib cage, or that divided crease between like your fat chub and the bottom of your ribs. That's a nice little like natural point to like hook your elbow into. You see a lot of women carrying their babies there. Your elbow where it gets right into the crease. You can hold your groceries or your child or whatever you're into. Thanks for the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys tuning in and giving me some motivation. Feel free to ask questions. Let me know how your day is. What's going on? It's a nice, kind of cloudy, sunny half-half day here in Pennsylvania. Half-half. Let's construct the arm. It's going to get messy, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes that 50% just doesn't do it. I got to go 100%. I got to erase, get some stuff worked out, make some clear decisions. Let's see it. So we got the base of the pistol grip, and then there's going to be some kind of arm locking controller, some kind of claw device that is part of the exoskeleton, and then the fingers are still going to wrap around the grip. Maybe that's how the exoskeleton knows to grasp onto a lash, as it recognizes what the fingers are doing. What the five fingers say to the face? Slap! Trigger discipline. That's cool. Let's rotate this box a little bit. Something like that. That's good. Yeah, this is better. This feels, oh, this feels something like that, maybe. Something like that feels good to me. Something like that is my friend. PK. PK machine gun, don't play. Probably would have all kinds of like custom, like adjusted features and stuff to work with a guy with body armor on. Like you probably don't need a big ass stock. You probably need a really short stock because you got all this plate armor in front of you. So that stock could be like 6 inches or something. It could be really, really small. Plus, you might not even need a stock because the power armor can just hold it. You know, like you can eyesight, laser beam the target over there. Power armor automatically knows the angle of the firearm and just moves the controller out there like a smart gun from Aliens, maybe. Will there even be a bipod on this? Maybe it doesn't even need the bipod because of weight, but we'll put it on there. Sometimes the bipod is a clear way to recognize a medium or light machine gun. Let me see if there's any reference in my pictures. Some massive muzzle brake kind of thing would be cool. Usually do like a small port and then a big port. So yeah, your suppressing fire stays on target. Just some kind of obnoxious brake comp thing. And then this is just a giant box of bullets. Bullets. Bullet, bullet. Bullet, bullet. I want to write some Cyrillic all over these guys, but I don't know Russian, so I don't want to mess something up. It's better to not have any text than to do something L4. Is there an L in Cyrillic? There's a C. No, that's C4 or something else. Yeah, just 4 is good. Let's just do 4. That's cool. Some kind of neck protector here. I'm thinking about that armor from the movie Hurt Locker. The bomb tech armor. Let's take a look at that. Let's mix up the image story here. Hurt Locker. What's that bomb tech suit look like? It's got a big old neck shield. He's got a big helmet. This is kind of the vibe you want the heavy to have. I heard this movie was a lot of bullshit, though. As much as I love war movies and I love Jeremy Renner, I heard there was a unfortunate amount of BS. And that's how I felt watching Hurt Locker the first time. I was like, I don't think there would be this little security around a guy who's taking bombs apart. This guy seems way too cavalier. And that's what I've heard with some veterans. Some veterans are like, yeah, this is totally phony, not Hollywood. But then I learned it was advised by Ben Mookie Thomas of Blackwater. And if you, is that him there? No, I don't think that's him there. But if you look at it from, if the contractor stuff was accurate, like that scene where the Marine or the Hurt Locker guys ran into the contractors, like that's pretty honest of the Blackwater experience. So I think Hurt Locker has more of a what was it like being a Blackwater dude, not an American soldier dude. And if you watch, like I kind of wish Hurt Locker was just, they should have just leaned into it and said this is a contractor, a fictitious contractor EOD group, not a soldier, not an American soldier. That probably would have done better in getting veterans of the war to kind of get on board with it. Now, then again, some people thought it was awesome. Like my brother Tim served in the Army, and he saw Hurt Locker and thought, well, Tommy, in 2000, early in Iraq, we didn't expect this big insurgency. So if you place this film at the very, very beginning of the war, it makes more sense than, in hindsight being 2020, where we now know about the different militias and the splintering apart of the Iraqi military, that the behaviors and choices the soldiers make in Hurt Locker make more sense if you assume that they didn't know anything about insurgency at that point. I think that's fair. That's fair. EOD, badass. Anyway, we're just looking visually at stuff. This illustration I'm working on is a form of entertainment. It's going to be going in a game book. So I have to draw a line between what is accurate for believability's sake versus what is entertaining. Sean, if you're still there listening, man, I tried watching The Old Guard last night, and I couldn't get through 10 minutes of it because Charlize Theron is wearing the cheapest cross-draw vest, and I can't get over how bad that costume choice is. You got 4 super elite like operators dropping into the desert wearing all black in the middle of the day. Come on, man. Come on. At least have some kind of like camouflage. They should have dropped in looking like Pashtuns or something, and then they strip like at nighttime, and they take off all their Pashtun costuming, and then they were suddenly black elite operators. But they'd still wear some plate chest armor. Like Charlize is wearing this cross draw vest. Let's see, what was it called? The Old Guard. What's the name of the movie? Yeah, Charlize Theron's awesome. I guess was it a comic book beforehand? What is it? Is this the comic book before or after? Before or after the thing? Like, this cross-draw vest is just so corny compared to what we know about military stuff. Now, I think the cross-draw vest was cool in like 1988. Like, that was some dope. Shoot, you can have all your pockets. You can get that for cheap. That's cool. Maybe I'll give it a second look later on. Old Guard 2. That's interesting. I just thought the costume advising was so low budget. I couldn't get through the movie. Yeah, here's the shot of the Old Guard, like with the helicopter. Okay, number one, shotguns suck, ladies and gentlemen. Shotguns suck to fight with. So if you put a shotgun in a movie about combat, I'm just going to write you off and be like, no, not really. If it's like zombie apocalypse and Old Man Withers, all he has is shotgun in the farm, yeah, I believe that. Old Man Withers on the farm in Idaho only would have a shotgun, probably for hunting birds and stuff. Maybe he's got a hunting rifle or something. I'll give you that. But if you're talking about elite operators who've been fighting on the face of the earth, I don't even know what website this is. Yabba.com. Shotgun shells? No. Would not be your primary fighting weapon. Dude over here has got like some kind of it's just awful. Just awful kit. The drop leg holsters are not tactically cool anymore. It's old school, man. This is like 1988. Like, this should be 18. Like 1988, except for the DeVore. That's what I would believe going on right here. Maybe if it was set in 2008 or 1992, I'd buy it. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm laughing at myself because, like, what have I done with my life? I haven't, made a movie. I don't know how hard it is. I just feel like there's so many good resources out there for what combat really looks like. You can play some Call of Duty, man. You can get some better gear. Maybe they used all their budget getting Charlize Theron, and they had nothing left to equip them with decent costumes and gear. So I heard the one good thing about Hurt Locker. Ben Thomas talked about Hurt Locker, and he had a lot of that. A lot of that kit was actually pretty accurate. It just there wasn't the numbers, like the amount of people wasn't right. If you were Blackwater, yeah, small team makes sense. But if you were the Army, you would have like platoons and companies of dudes. And the nylon was pretty accurate apparently, with the handmade SOE gear. If you're a nylon junkie, there are people out there who are all about tactical nylon web gear who are like experts in it. I'm learning a little bit about it. I got a couple pieces myself from Blue Forest Gear, but nothing fancy. I'm not all about that nylon life yet. But then again, I'm not going into war zones requiring body armor either. So I haven't worn a plate carrier. I don't know what that's like and what kind of pieces of kit you'd want or not. I have some loose fandom kind of knowledge of like what people strap in, but it looks interesting. And there is a difference between what looks correct and what doesn't. For some reason, like when it's set up correctly, it feels right. It feels believable. When it's not set up well, then you're like, what is this guy? It looks like it was just taken off of a rack and worn by an actor. And usually it's like the practicality. Sean's here. What's up, Sean? Sean says, hey, Tom. Hey, Sean. Good to see you, man. Thanks for checking in. Joe says, I can't unsee the Pokeball with Charlie's heads coming out of it. Yeah, that whole Pokemon axe thing was dumb in that movie, too. Like, that axe is not very practical. I can see there's some good ideas in the old guard. I just think the execution on the movie was really flat. Really, really flat. Like, if you got a small budget, I think you should make a film noir detective movie or like a reality comedy or something. If you got a big budget, then you hire some good consultants and some good acting directors. Get people from stage or something. And I don't know. It was just a mishmash of things. I think some people got really excited about this IP, and Netflix is still in the early phases of making movies and figuring out what's the I don't know, what's the formula for making a hit movie on Netflix. I know there's people on Netflix can do it because Narcos is freaking incredible. Like, Narcos is absolutely incredible. Love that show. That seems dope. It seems like well advised, well funded. It's got tons of gear. That seems legit. But it's also set in like the 90s in Colombia. So it's not like the high end of the high end stuff. You can get, it was set 30 years ago. So you can get a ton of gear on the surplus market that isn't being used actively by militaries anymore and dress up your entire background extra cast in surplus gear for pennies on the dollar. That makes sense. So if I was a film director, I'd probably make like Vietnam movies and like 1980s movies because all that stuff's like easy to get and there's tons of people who could talk about it. It'd be all kind of fresh. That's why Stranger Things did so well. Love some Stranger Things. What's your favorite TV show right now, Sean? Are you watching any TV? You're probably too busy making stuff. You're actually doing things with your life. doing boat stuff. Making axes. Making stuff. I missed that the tap water you had, man. My man Sean built like his own seltzer maker in his house. So he had a giant cartridge of CO2. What am I even drawing in the background here? I don't even know what. I think it's supposed to be a hatch. It's supposed to be some kind of a hatch. Okay. I thought it was awesome. Some spring water that had freshly bubbled CO2. That was good. It's awesome. Yes. Sean was in the sandbox. He saw some things. What did you think about Hurt Locker, Sean? Did you like Hurt Locker, or was it silly? You spent some time over there. Yeah, I don't know how people live in that kind of heat. I was thinking about how soft we've gotten as a society. Like, just the fact that hundreds of years ago, any stream you could just drink out of. I think maybe 1 in 10 people got sick, but for the most part, like, where'd you get your water from? And now, like, don't drink out of that stream. It might be polluted. It might have microbes in it. It might have some funky algae that'll make you sick. What happened? Just over colonized? I don't know. Overbuilt? There's a person I do not like on the internet who's always posting decolonize, decolonize. Come on, man. That's just someone who can't adapt to the world that exists. I like to think about fantasy because entertainment and fantasy work together. But there's reality too, and like the strongest definitely survive, but the fittest will conquer and sustain themselves. They will endeavor, they'll persevere, they will continue. I don't want. It's a whole freaking can of worms. Why am I even considering going into it? Because I haven't been to a good mosh pit lately. Did L check in yet? I did this whole thing for L, and I don't even think he checked in. I sent him a message. Must have gotten stuck in a meeting. Let's see. Messages. My sister sent me a message. Sweet. Sister hooked me up with some Tony Hawk codes. Hell yeah. Can install that after this string. Play some Tony Hawk. PlayStation. Love me some Tony Hawk 2. I think I was in college. I got the demo that had like 1 or 2 levels. I just played it over and over again. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Got to meet Tony Hawk. Very nice guy. Got to have an elevator ride with him at the top of the mega ramp in like 2005. So, nice dude. Run into him probably 3 or 4 times. I'm sure if you live in Southern California, you've seen Tony Hawk around too. I think he's in San Diego. Is he hanging out in La Jolla? Probably. Now, I saw him in Aspen once. I was in Aspen with my sister for Winter X Games stuff. And then I saw him at the X Games a few times. I got yelled at by he yelled at me once. That was funny. Tony Hawk yelled at me. It was the best trick competition in Philadelphia in 2001 or 3. I don't know. I think I was in college, so it must have been 2002 or 3. And I was part of the crew that would carry the podiums, the award podiums, on and off the ramp. Like at the end of the event, it was like gold, silver, bronze. And I was one of the guys that carried the boxes out. And all the X Games were for television. So these 1-hour blocks of television. Well, we know skaters don't listen to blocks of time. Like they have their own schedule. So Tony was like close to nailing this trick. It was like some revert 720 spin grab thing. And he was so close to getting it, and so he just kept going. Just like the 900 video. Like 900, he didn't complete the 900 in Rhode Island in competition time. That went extra time. And the cameras just kept rolling, and it was this epic moment. So Tony was trying to do the same thing. He had the big crowd, and I was carrying the boxes. He's like, get those fucking out of here. I'm doing my trick. So I got yelled at, and on footage, like, I'm running off with the fucking box. And Tony lands the trick, and everyone's like, yeah, that was awesome. Fuck yeah. So it ended up being kind of a narrative that the narrative was that ESPN was trying to shut the broadcast down, and I got to be the bad guy. Like, I was told by a production crew to move the thing and stop Tony from competing, but it ended up being this great moment. And Tony's good at that. Tony's good at building those moments. What's the lesson for today? Well, there's many ways to solve a problem, and I'm sharing with you this brute force method. This guy's got hockey pads. They're kind of like goalie pads. Maybe just lean into the whole goalie padded look a little bit more. Maybe there's a, I don't know, just like strips of cloth that you can stick camouflage into, some kind of webbing, some lightweight webbing. It's not to hold weight, it's just to hold branches and camouflage. I think that'd be cool. Dr. Disrespect, I follow, and he was talking about he wants a game where the narrative is fun to watch. And PUBG had that. When you were Doc playing PUBG, there was this progressive story where he's going on an adventure, either solo or with his friends, and you're going on this trip, kind of like following the Goonies down a journey, or Frodo and Sam marching through Middle Earth. Like there's that road trip, hiking trip narrative, and then along the way you have altercations and fights and ambushes and stuff. And as long as it's moving, as long as it keeps moving, it's an interesting story. Like setting up an ambush and waiting isn't really fun unless you can cut away back to it. That would be kind of interesting. So Doc was saying something on his broadcast, like, hey man, let me just talk to the dudes from DICE. EA, talk to me. Give me a call. I think I can prototype something out with Battlefield 5. Guys, let's make an interesting PUBG style. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but I like the idea of it. That he wants to develop a game, or he wants a game developed that looks as good to watch as it is to play. I think Warzone is kind of fun to watch and only kind of fun to play. It's definitely more fun to play because there's the ability to rebuy into the game. Like, you're not just knocked out of the game. But PUBG, there was this like finality to it that it's like do or die, and that made for a more tense story. Like, there's not the tension in Warzone as a viewer, because you know that the Dr. Disrespect, if he gets knocked, he just goes to the gulag and can win the gulag fight and come back into the game. It's not as tense, but it's better as a player. So what do? Maybe do you have a mode? Do you have like a one life only mode for the professionals? I'd be interested in that. Like no gulag mode, maybe. But the customization was interesting too. Like, the pre-assembled kits are more realistic in Warzone. You get a gun all set up, all customized out, and you know what you're getting every single time. Optics, adjustments, bullets, all that kind of stuff. But it's not as fun narratively to finding these different components and putting together the perfect, ideal setup. Like, getting enough money just to buy your loadout is cool as a player, but it's boring as a watcher. Oh, Doc's got his MP7 all customized out again. It was more interesting in PUBG when Doc was trying to get his specific scope and sniper rifle and all that stuff. Drew's back. What's up, Drew? What's up, what's up, what's up? That when Doc got all the components to his Mosin Nagant with 6x sniper rifle, you knew it was on. Or it was the 4x. He had the ACOG on the Mosin Nagant, which is silly. It's completely silly. But in the game, that was set up. And you knew once Doc found those pieces and got that set up, it was on. And you were in for a ride. He was going to be sniping some people. This is what media people do. If you ever were curious, what does like a back writer's room meeting look like? It's the same kind of gibberish I'm doing. People are probably drinking tons of coffee and just brainstorming what would be fun and exciting. And it'd be infuriating if you're smarter than the rest of the group and these dumb ideas keep getting pitched forward and they go with these dumb ideas. But if you're like me, it's probably good enough because I'm kind of dumb and I think my ideas are great. Maybe that should be my job. I'm going to go to Hollywood and be a writer and tell all these Netflix executives that their military stuff isn't on point. You should stick in the 80s. Do 80s combat. You don't know what you're talking about in Modern Warfare. I don't believe it. You don't know what you're talking about. Your nylon doesn't look right. So what's up, Drew? What you doing? What you doing today? What you cooking for dinner? God, I could go for a grilled cheese. I felt bad. Yesterday, went to Subway, which is usually okay. It's cheap. It's a lot of food. But there was a food truck event at the fire station. I forgot about it. I just really want a grilled cheese, man. I'm gonna go to the supermarket today and get some white bread, some cheese, some tomatoes. All right, how are we doing? Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at this. What do we think? It's okay. I feel like it's pretty flat, but photos typically are. As I shade this drawing, maybe we get some depth in it, but the poses are pretty flat. I think the two guys on the right feel pretty good, and the two guys on the left are very direct and right at the camera. It's all right, though. It's all right. How does this drawing compare to the other drawings? Let's do a little quick visual contrast. So Russians, let's make this a green image. We got the leaning out rocket thing. That's fun. That's going to have some action to it. The sniper, that's okay. It's a little boring because it's only just one character. And then the comms with the added lady. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's boring without. We're going to keep her in. Let's lock that up. Ooh. What just happened? Oh, it merged with the Russians. Okay. Just these two. Yeah. Lady comms. That's pretty good. So as a suite of drawings, this one needs more stuff. It needs something kind of around it, maybe just a little bit of a vignette of a corner of a building or something. Just stuff. Just maybe something he's hiding. Maybe there's a barrel with some holes in it. Spent magazines, maybe a little perch. I don't know. Just needs things. Needs more life. A little grounding. Maybe a little like tapestry is like hanging here. This is a 2x4. It's got a little bit of plastic hanging. Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, we got a scene suddenly there. So this will be the set of grayscale drawings that we render out to go along with the cover art, which will be this scene here. We have the Americans set up in the Donetsk region airport. I think this is pretty close to done. I might do a little bit more on this, but we have the Russians who have just been defeated in this particular battle in the background. This is feeling pretty good. Probably a little bit, maybe another hour or two I'll put into polishing this and refining. Maybe we pop the foreground out a little bit. Maybe we brighten this guy up a little bit. What's that? Looks like I had two versions here. Yeah, that's good. We like those changes. Cool. Probably needs to be brightened. Let's see what does it look like on the stream. Yeah, it can be brightened up just a little bit. So let's hit the Control L and then just pop that up. Yeah, that's where it needs to be. Brighten it up. Save that. Boom. Looks good. It's pretty dope. I had a lot of fun working on this, ladies and gentlemen. This one was really good. Probably 12 hours, 14 hours in this one. Maybe more, maybe 20. I don't remember honestly because it went through so many evolutions, and it's been about 2 to 3 weeks off and on. So I haven't tracked very well exactly what's going on in this drawing, but feeling pretty good about it. It's got more. It's a little more dynamic. It's got a little bit more depth than my previous illustrations have, and that's always fun. I always want to have more depth in my paintings ever since talking to Susan Waters-Eller in her class Illusionism back in the early 2000s. So this one feels so flat compared to that. It feels so flat compared to that. But maybe just by having this in context, we'll give this one more depth. We can do stuff with tonality. Maybe when we go to paint this next time, that I'll show you by using tones. How do we get more depth here? I hope this was fun for you guys. I'm talked out. I've been on this for over an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks to all you who came and hung out. Drew says, sailing tonight, and I love grilled cheese. Dude, good luck sailing tonight. It's probably a beautiful night out there in the mid-Atlantic Chesapeake Bay region. Man, that sounds like fun. Take a deep breath of that briny air for me. Just one breath, like this breath's for Tom. And then cough a little bit because it's Baltimore, and then go back to sailing as usual. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Love talking to you all. Tell your friends. This will be up on YouTube later. Turbo Symonds, a YouTube channel. Stay real. Peace.